Hi there, welcome back to one of the only channels on the internet that I'm on. Me, your old friend Micah Mabey. Welcome back, happy to have you. Glad to be here, all in all, together. We're gonna do a little bit of a roundup today. 2024 best media for me, Micah, so far. What have I really liked? Let's talk about it. Day of filming, July 16th. I do have to go to work in a couple of hours, but I wanted to sit and chat for a little bit about pieces of media that I've really liked so far this year. We're looking at movies and streaming and video games kind of specifically. Maybe at the end of the year, we'll hit books as well and podcasts and all of that stuff. But for now, we're focusing on what I've probably spent the most time with, which is movies, YouTube / online streaming, and video games. Last year, I didn't play many video games, but this year, I've been in it. I'm deep in it. Let's start with movies. So our festival run already happened, the Oscars happened earlier this year, but there are some movies that came out late last year or early this year that were up for contending in those spheres. So like Poor Things, for example, Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things starring Emma Stone. What a flick, man. That's one of those movies that kind of ticks all of the boxes for me. There's 3 things I really like in a movie. If a movie has all 3 of these things, there is a good chance that I'm gonna like it. It's right down my alley, so to say. Poor Things has those 3 things. Number 1, a freaky little dude. Every character in this movie was a freaky little dude, but Emma Stone specifically played that freaky little dude role very well. Not to mention Willem Dafoe as a perfect freaky little dude, Mark Ruffalo as a freaky little dude. Everyone in this was a freaky little dude, and I can really appreciate that. Number 2, beautiful production design. This movie did that wonderfully. This weird, futuristic, fantastical sort of world that they all lived in, and the color editing was beautiful and really helped elevate that whole viewpoint. Like Emma Stone's character seeing everything as if she was a baby coming into this new life, everything is so bright and vibrant and crazy. Until it's not. I won't spoil the movie, but, you know. Movie 2. We're looking at Past Lives. I know that also came out last year. I actually missed it when it was in theaters, even though I lived right down the street from this excellent art house movie theater. Art house, I don't know if it's technically an art house movie theater, but the Music Box here in Chicago was playing Past Lives in its initial theater run, and I kept being like, I have to go see Past Lives. And then it stopped showing, and I missed out on what was one of my favorite movies of last year. Movie 3, we're talking about Lisa Frankenstein. I know, campy, little, silly, little horror comedy. Cole Sprouse as a Frankenstein's monster type. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was silly. I thought it was campy. I thought it did a lot of things right. And it was just that's a fun movie to watch. Don't get me wrong. I love a movie that's a deep thinker. I love to sit and ponder and dissect a film. But sometimes a good movie is just fun to watch. And Lisa Frankenstein was fun to watch. Also, real quick, I just want to throw this out there. I know this isn't a new movie, but I finally watched for the first time Lars and the Real Girl. Great time. Awesome time. Ryan Gosling and a doll. Awesome. Great. Anyway. Now for the new movies this year that maybe will be up for some Oscar buzz, maybe some won't, but we've got 3. We're looking at number 1, Challengers. Everyone was talking about Challengers when it came out. It was an awesome watch. It was so much fun. The stakes were so high, and yet, no, they weren't. Every performance was incredible. Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, Mike Feist, all delivered such incredible performances. I will be a little disappointed if each one of them isn't nominated for an Oscar for that movie. It was truly the set to a beautiful Challengers summer. Not to mention the score and the production design and the cinematography all just kind of being stellar. Just really an overall solid flick. I hope that we see some buzz for it around award season. We're going to follow that up with the recently released MaXXXine, the final of the trilogy for Ty West's Mia Goth-led horror flicks. if you didn't see X, if you didn't see Pearl, maybe MaXXXine isn't going to be something you understand on a first watch, because I don't know if it necessarily stands on its own. This is the one movie on the list that I didn't love. I really wanted to because I enjoyed the first two so much. X specifically is like one of my favorite slashers in the entire genre at this point. Pearl, also really good, a great character study, but X just like ticked more boxes for me, you know. And that's okay. You're allowed to like Pearl more than X. I don't judge you for that. Please don't judge me for my takes. You can, actually. I don't super care if you do, because you can't talk to me here and now. So this is my time. Thank you very much. And finally, the most recent movie on this list, the most recent release, just came out a couple of days ago as of filming this. We're talking about Oz Perkins's Longlegs. Oz Perkins' Longlegs? Oz Perkins's Nick Cage in Longlegs. I didn't know what to expect walking into this movie. I had heard some buzz on the internet, some people, some marketing, talking about how great this movie was going to be, how scary this movie was going to be. Not a, like, downright horror film. It's that shit's a psychological thriller. Like, I don't want you to go into this. Actually, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me how you go into this because you're going to be surprised. So I don't want to say too much about it at this point, but Nick Cage in his role in this movie, it might be my favorite Nick Cage performance ever, other than maybe National Treasure and National Treasure 2. If I can put this video out in a timely manner and Longlegs is still in theaters, this is me urging you to go see Longlegs. Also, like, support horror movies because they're so cool and not enough people do that. Right? Okay? Support horror movies. Also, Oz Perkins, son of Anthony Perkins, the guy that played Norman Bates in Psycho, which is just like a cool little lineage thing, horror to horror. Yes, it technically makes him a Nepo baby, but I think that's okay in the horror genre. It's not like they're out here making millions of dollars doing blockbuster TV shows or anything. He made a spooky movie. A good spooky movie. Nick Cage, whoa. Some terrifying stuff happens, but we're okay with the Nepo baby stuff in this one. There we go. That's the 7 movies that I either really enjoyed and the one that I really was disappointed by this year. Some that came out last year, some that came out this year, one that came out in something like 2006. But that's okay, because I get to make the rules. We're going to talk now about YouTube/online streaming services. We're talking about one each, so I might as well just say YouTube. Philip DeFranco, as of the day of filming this, has just started trying out this new live stream, and I'm a big news junkie. I like to take a lot of stuff in from around the world because I like to know what's going on, even if it's a little terrifying. All the time. Not to be a bummer, but the world is scary. Just this past Sunday, Philip DeFranco started doing these morning live streams, which has been a lot of fun and like a new way for me to take in news because I don't have cable TV, so I can't just like throw on CNN anytime or throw on one of the other things that exist out there. So I do get a lot of my news from Twitter or from these streamers that I watch, etc., etc. So to have one of the people who I've been watching since the dawn of time on YouTube, I mean, A, I've been watching YouTube for a long time, and B, I've been on the platform making stuff myself for a long time, some stuff that you can't find anymore, thank God. But Philip DeFranco has been making stuff longer and better, and it's been so much fun to watch him evolve and grow and try new things, and watching these morning live streams the last few days has been really great for like my mind of being like, I want to take in more so I can know more, so I can be better educated about the state of the world and how I should feel about things without hearing it through jokes on Twitter. It's nice to like get information and then be able to make my own decisions on how I feel. And you know, like every newscaster, Phil has his own views and biases, but it's okay that I don't always agree with him. That's how it should be. We should have discourse, healthy discourse about how to evolve and change, and that feels like a good community to be able to do that. Philip DeFranco, huzzah. And then the non-YouTube streaming platform that I've really been enjoying is Dropout.tv, man. They're just making great stuff, high quality comedy, And it's nice to see that kind of stuff. It's nice to see comedy like that and performers like that have a space to thrive and be successful without it having to be the grind of every night going out to an improv show and performing that way. It's nice seeing a space where wonderful comedians are being well treated and making connections, etc., etc. Yeah, it's just cool to see a space where comedy can thrive, and stuff like that has kind of died on YouTube because now YouTube really asks its creators for other types of things. So stuff like, not that Dropout does sketch, but stuff like sketch, stuff like improv, stuff like game shows, the stuff that Dropout does, these high quality shows aren't necessarily celebrated on this platform. They're just looking for other stuff. So to see a place where high quality comedy shows, not to mention their lineup of shows, like Dimension 20, The New Thousandaires, VIP, Game Changer, Make Some Noise. These really solid shows that make me laugh and can make me feel, and that one was specifically for D20 to make me feel. And just to introduce a plethora of wonderful comedians to this niche near-coming mainstream. I say near-coming mainstream because of this Emmy buzz that is happening around their shows, VIP, aka Very Important People, and Game Changer. VIP, hosted by Vic Michaelis, who is up for consideration for Best Show Host, Variety Show Host. I'm not sure what the exact title on that is. And then Sam Reich, who, if he isn't up for Best Game Show Host for the Emmys this year, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's one of the best shows being made right now, Game Changer, and it needs to be seen by more people. And I'm not trying to, fanboy over this. I'm just trying to state a fact. This is one of the funniest, most creative, cleverest shows being made right now in this vein. The way it showcases so many wonderfully talented and smart comedians, and the host is just wicked charming and good at what they do. It's just cool. It's just really cool. And I am excited for this Emmy buzz. I used to watch College Humor when it was still College Humor, and still had Jake and Amir making their videos, and Tanner Caldwell, and now one of the late night, one of the SNL head writers used to be on College Humor. So I've been a part of this viewing audience for a long time. So to see that there's even buzz about Emmy stuff is really cool. As a longtime comedy fan and someone who's been making stuff on the internet and trying to be funny for years on years on years, it's just nice. It's nice to see funny people be successful, and I want to see them be even more successful. Anyway, enough ranting about YouTube and streaming. Let's move on to video games. We'll be quick here. There's a couple of games that I want to talk about. The one that's just the silly, this has been fun, my partner plays it and I get to watch, and sometimes I take over and try to 100% a level. Princess Peach Showtime, the new Nintendo title on the Switch. I'm not going to say it's particularly hard, but it is A, fun to look at, and B, an easy game to forget who you are to. It is just sit back on the couch and press a couple buttons and go, ooh, ah. It's nice, it's fun, it's simple. Princess Peach Showtime. The next game I want to talk about is the debut title from Big Mode Games called Animal Well, this Metroidvania-esque platformer puzzle game where you play as a little frog, I think, or a little, what was it? A little guy. You play as a freaky little guy. I've probably put maybe only 10 hours into it at this point, and that might be being generous. But I've been having a lot of fun. I frankly I stay up late, I'm sitting, I'm a little delirious, but I'm not ready for bed yet after a long day of work, and I just want to like unwind and play a game. I've been throwing on Animal Well and just like enjoying the vibrant colors and the aesthetic and the gameplay and the tips and tricks that you discover along the way. It's one of those games that the more you play it, simply the more fun it becomes, because you're unlocking all these new things, you're finding new ways to play the game, your techniques and skills are getting better, which lets you unlock more and get into parts that you couldn't earlier in the game. And for a debut from a new game studio, an indie game studio, it's solid. It's really good. Animal Well by Big Mode. Awesome. Next, I just started playing for the first time the 2023 release from Black Salt Games, Dredge. Here, I'll read what they say about it. Dredge is a 2023 fishing game developed by Black Salt Games and published by Team 17. The game follows a fisherman who encounters increasingly Lovecraftian creatures as he ventures out further into an open-world archipelago. Archipelago? I don't know what that word means. Let's find out together. An archipelago, sometimes called an island group or island chain, is a chain, cluster, or collection of islands, or sometimes a sea containing a small number of scattered islands. Will they say it for me? Let's find out.
Archipelago.
Archipelago. So that's Dredge. It's just awesome. You take control of a little boat, like a motorized fishing boat, and as day turns into night, you start exploring this set of islands. And yes, I mean, Lovecraftian is correct. And I'm a big fan of stuff like a cosmic horror like that, because it's just so imaginative. It's so crazy. You can kind of do so much in that genre. And to see a game like this set in a genre like Lovecraftian cosmic horror is really cool. You look for fish, and you go out on the hunt for special materials that you might need to progress in the game. But if you stay out too late for too long, some stuff starts to happen. And it's a little freaky. The first time, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it, but like the first time a big spooky thing happened to me, I like turned the game off. Not because it was so scary, but because I was just like, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that was what was going to happen here. I had an idea, but I didn't know for sure. So it's kind of crazy. I would highly suggest playing Dredge. Stay up late, get a little loopy. These are my games. Stay up late, get a little weird, and dive into a beautifully aesthetic game that does take a bit more of your brain than you're ready to give. And finally, on my game list, let's talk about the 2021 release It Takes Two from Hazelight Studio. This is a beautiful couch co-op game where you turn into dolls. You're two parents going through a divorce, and your child turns you into a doll. It sounds wild. I don't even know if that premise like sounds fun, but it's this crazy action adventure platforming game that has this really wild world build to it, where it shrinks you down to the size of a doll, animates you up, and you have to go through like the real world, but this big. And it's just a fun way. My partner and I have been playing it together. It's a fun way to like unwind after a day and like communicate and like have fun together on the couch next to each other. It's been a while since I feel like I've played a good couch co-op game with someone, and this is really doing it for me. All right, I think that's what I got for now. Again, at the end of the year, we'll do another one of these and we'll talk about more stuff and maybe some of these things again, but probably not, because I have another 6 months to take in new media, and we'll talk about the books and the podcasts and the things like that. But for now, movies, internet streaming, games, tell me which ones you've been enjoying, if you've played or watched anything on my list so far. Let me know if you liked them or if you hated them. Let me know if you felt different about MaXXXine than I did. Let me know if the news you've been watching sucks. And if you've played any games that you've really liked, let me know. I'm a particular fan of like a Metroidvania or a platformer or like a game along the lines of Hades or Binding of Isaac, stuff like that. I'm big into all that kind of stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, for sitting through however long this video has been. I don't know yet, but we'll know soon, and you'll be able to tell before you even start the video. Isn't that nice? For this video, I've been Micah Mabey, and you've been a camera. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Just got this shirt. This is a new shirt. We'll see if I regret wearing it on camera. Okay.